Manifesting isn't what's hard. Becoming the person who's capable of doing it seems to be the challenge for most people. I think manifesting has got a pretty bad rap, the word itself. Why? Because if you just think about what it actually means to manifest something, it's really you just creating a goal and achieving the goal. So it has become now, in secular terms, a word pertaining to sorcery and witchcraft and all this esoteric kind of woo-woo nonsense when it comes to manifesting, but it's just you creating a goal and achieving it. So in this video, we'll talk about why most people struggle to create their own realities, what manifestation really is without all the added fluff, how a specific order of mental steps leads to predictable outcomes, and finally, actionable steps that you can start taking today to get what you want. So you have to ask yourself, what kind of life are you currently creating? What are your actions? What are your habits? What are your behaviors leading you towards? What are you getting out of life right now? And due to those things, are you headed in the right direction? Okay, so moment of truth, moment of honesty. You got to ask yourself, what kind of life are you currently creating? What are your habits? What are your behaviors? What are your current level of disciplines? What is it leading you all towards? Are you finding it difficult to manifest the things that you want? Or do you feel like you already figured out the recipe? In my opinion, we're all alchemists. And in my mind, we're all scientists. We're taking thoughts, we're taking beliefs, we're taking former indoctrinations or systems of understanding, perspectives or worldviews, and we're taking those things and creating our lives with them. We're either using our life experiences to create the realities that we want, or we're unknowingly destroying the lives or the future self or the future reality that we want to create by just repeating the same thing as yesterday, the same life as yesterday, over and over and over. Everything is energy, and that's all there is to it. Match the frequency of the reality you want, and you cannot help but get that reality. It can be no other way. This is not philosophy. This is physics. Albert Einstein. So for all of you who already know what a consciousness chart looks like, you understand the chakras, the levels, from bottom being grief, greed, lust, all those other things, right? All the way up to the top, enlightenment. Most people are existing at the very bottom. They are existing and living lives they don't want out of competition, out of greed, out of lust, out of negative desires. So this begins to permeate in their life, and it shows in their actions and their behaviors. You want a new life, but you're unwilling to become the person who's capable of creating it. And that's the problem. Every day you choose, every day you opt to wake up and do the exact same actions as yesterday that didn't move the needle, you are saying, I do not want a different life. I am incapable because I want what I want without putting in any work to get it. And that's all manifestation is. It's you saying, I want something. I have a magnanimous desire. I want to be this. I want to have this. I want to do these things. So the proper way to go about that is to go through the proper channels, right? Which is, we're going to talk about that a little bit later on in the video, but it's steps. It's steps that you have to take, and it's important that you learn these steps so that you can stop thinking of manifestation as this super out-of-body experience that you always have to be creating to get what you want. So think of your brain, think of your existence, your current level of where you are mentally as like a frequency, right? An antenna. And based on your current set of thoughts, your behaviors, right? Your consciousness, your level of thought, right? Enlightenment, greed, anger, frustration, lack, whatever. Think of your mind as an antenna, and there is a vast field, right? A vast field of energy. Now, if this field is real, that means you can attract what you want with your mind. Your mind is the antenna. It is essentially the fish hook or the fishing line, whatever way you want to put it. It's the fishing line that's cast out into the field, and you get back what you put in. Reality is more of a mental construct than it is physical. It's an internal holographic projection created by the brain's perception of the world around it. You are the avatar in your own game of life. You don't see life as it is. You see it as you are in real time. What that looks like is you living your beliefs. Your mind is a machine projecting a worldview based upon information it has downloaded from previous experiences. So we realize and know now that the mind is an artifact. It's a machine. It collects information. That's how you're able to remember mommy and daddy's name, brother and sister, your coworker, aunt, uncle. You know how to basically get to work your place of business, whatever it is, wherever you go, you know how to get there effortlessly. It becomes a point where what you do becomes embedded in your brain. It doesn't take very much effort for you to get from point A to point B when you've been there 3, 4, 5, 1100 times. Your brain generates energy along with your heart being the ultimate energy source to your body, generating all organic energy from the autonomic nervous system. Think electrical wiring throughout your house. The heart is a very powerful source of energy, right? That's why we measure in different EKGs and all types of machines. It can measure the amount of electricity that pulsates through your body, right? All that other good stuff. Both send communication signals back and forth to one another, kind of like ping pong, but way more intense at nearly breakneck speeds. When these messages are clear, they create what's called brain and heart coherence. The benefits of this coherence is something you probably were never taught in biology class, simply because it would have made your teacher useless along with everything else you were being taught by the compulsory schooling indoctrination system. You are a extremely unique and powerful creature, fearfully and wonderfully made in the image of your creator. All right, stop it, Cass, right? You're going religious on me. No, really though. I mean, that's my belief system, right? I believe God and science go hand in hand. I believe God proven by science and the existence of him, but that's my belief system. We ain't got to get into all that other stuff. But mind, body, and soul, you are a electrical being, right? Which is why you need electrolytes when you're getting tired, when you're getting lethargic. You drink Gatorade, you drink Pedialyte, whatever. Your body needs these chemicals. So between the brain and heart, there's a lot of different chemicals and there's a lot of different hormones and stuff that's trading back and forth. When these things are not in sync, when your body is not in sync, when your brain and heart is not in sync, you start to produce stress chemicals like cortisol. You're probably thinking, Cass, when the hell did you become a biologist? I study a lot. I read and I apply the knowledge to my life and to my business, which is primarily, how I'm able to speak on these things the way that I do, because it's science-backed data. Like, it's not me making shit up. It's a lot of different books. It's a lot of different things that you can read. I would also look into Joe Dispenza's Supernatural. Great book. Great book. But what does this look like actionably, right? You talking all the biology and neuroscience and psychology and all this other stuff, chemical, whatever. What does all this look like string together in everyday life or as an entrepreneur? You have a lot of different thoughts that go through your head in a single day. You have a lot of different emotions. So when your heart and your mind is not in sync, you're living a very stressful life over and over and over. And until these bonds are broken, right, the stressful chemicals that keeps being produced in your life every day, you're not going to achieve the outcomes in life that you're looking for. You're not going to be able to manifest anything. So I think we kind of understand and know that what happens when a brain and heart, your brain and heart is not coherent and it's not working together. It's a pretty bad outcome. But the benefits of when they are coherent, you start to see drastic improvements in your life. And we can get into some practices about how to do that later on in the video, but let's just dive into what that looks like. The benefits of your brain and heart working in complete sync are improved cognitive function. Coherence enhances focus, creativity, and problem-solving abilities. Your brain is able to operate at an optimal level of efficiency, leading to clearer thinking and better decision making. So, when I talked about how does this apply in real life, how does this apply to the life of an entrepreneur, solopreneur, whatever, that's it right there. Decision making is key in every aspect of your life, day in and day out. You have to be able to make sound decisions. Otherwise, you're in a negative state of mind where you keep making the same bad decision every single day, the same habits, the same patterns. You're repeating the same day as yesterday, leading you to the same reality over and over and over and over. Enhanced emotional regulation. When in alignment, you can experience improved emotional stability, leading to better management of stress and anxiety. Coherence easily cultivates more feel-good chemicals in the body like serotonin, dopamine, and norepinephrine, which can help create positive emotions like happiness, peace, and a greater sense of tranquility in life. And this is where a lot of people are lacking, right? You can get on the road at any given point in time of the day now. I remember it was more so in the morning when it was rush hour and people were trying to get home from a hard day's work or whatever. You would see some pretty crazy drivers. Everyone's trying to get there on time. Right now, it's like any time of the day. Any time of the day, you damn near got to walk around with a strap in your passenger seat because people are so goddamn crazy all the time. Why? Brain, heart, out of sync. That's what it looks like. Greater resilience. You become more resilient to stress and challenges, which in turn allows a greater bounce back from perceived failures or unmet challenges. The world won't keep feeling like it's about to fall on your head after every small setback. All right, so you can kind of see the benefits here. It's all kind of coming together. When your heart and your mind are in sync, when when it's in rhythm, there's a lot of good outcomes that come from this. Improved decision making, emotional stability, and you become more resilient to life setbacks. I mean, you can't really beat this. But why is this not being taught in school again? Oh yeah, that's right. Maybe because it benefits the person who's learning it and not the school who's teaching it. I don't know. Now, this is where you have to become more mindful of your time and your stress factors. You know, I don't know your life. You know your life. This is where you have to start doing some real soul searching and trying to figure out where you are and what's going to be optimal for your life in terms of getting your ideal outcome, right? Your manifestation, whatever it is that you want. Spirituality and science go hand in hand. There's a lot of science that proves what we can't see. Ultimately, you know what's best for you. I think you know the decisions that you should be making today, tomorrow. You're an adult, most likely, if you're watching this, so you know what's best for you and you know how to proceed forward. The goal of this video is to give you more actionable advice as to how to get the things you want. Instead of feeling like life is happening to you, you can begin to actively create it. Most people are walking around as just being victims of circumstance, not realizing that your mind projects life. So that means what you want out of it solely comes down to having a mind capable of being able to see it. You gotta start deleting shit, right? Your mind's like a computer, and it only has but so much space and so much memory and bandwidth to take on the daily challenges of life. So if it's constantly being flooded with uplifting words, people, and places, and constantly putting you in a state of stress where you can't produce, can't be creative, you're not able to zoom out from the day-to-day activities, and you just dive in headfirst into the same life as you lived yesterday. How long do you think you can keep going like that? I can tell you not long. Not long at all. I mean, there's other health factors and stuff, but I feel like your mind is the literal GPS. It gives exact coordinates. You see it. You put together actions to go get it. But if you have nothing to see and you have no vision, or you have no overarching theme or meaningful goal that you want to pursue, you will keep settling for a life that's just comfortable. And what's crazy is the thing that's comfortable is the thing that's actually killing you faster. The average person is living in a constant state of survival, acting out of their past negative experiences, which keeps their mind addicted to stress hormones. This negative addiction is what simultaneously brings comfort and calamity in a person's life. So that's true. You can actually be addicted to the thing that's no good for you. Case in point, why does a juicy story about someone else's life and why it ain't going so well when you're in that negative state of mind, or hearing about something wrong going on in the world, another war or whatever the thing is, why does that seem so attractive? It's because that's where your mind is at that point in your life. It's in a lower state. Your mind is tuned to the negative instead of being able to see the positive outcomes of what you can produce, not just in your life, but in the life of others. When you're constantly living in survival, you don't have the ability to create. You don't see any way to produce. So that's what's comforting, even though it's no good for you, and you know the same job that you go to every day has next to no new outcomes from you being there for the past 5, 9, 29 years. You'll keep going to it because it's what you know. It's comforting, but that's the trap. Same thing with relationships. Same thing with communities, same thing with hobbies. It doesn't matter what the thing is. If you know deep down it's not causing you to grow, it might be time to let it go. As I said at the start of the video, it's not manifesting something that's hard. It's you not seeing a goal, a clear outcome, and doing the necessary steps to achieve what you want. I believe inherently most people want a better life. I don't think no one wants to live in poverty. I don't think people want to just be out here doing negative things. I don't believe a person who has a business, doesn't want to grow it, doesn't want to scale it, doesn't want to use it as a leveraging tool to bring transformation to a person's life. I believe if there's any point in time why something is not working, it's ultimately due to your programming and you just not knowing the next step. But unfortunately, ignorance can be bliss. So you can learn to love the thing and get used to the thing due to the comfort that it brings, right? From you doing it and living it every single day. It became a programming in your mind where now you just desire the thing that you know is no good for you or it just doesn't work. You're used to it. By default, our minds are lazy. So it's always looking for the easy way out if possible. It has to be stretched and pulled a bit like a muscle in order for it to grow and really be useful. So feeding it the proper nutrition can assist in its alchemical chemical process, which is learning something profitable, gaining insight as to how it can be applied, and leveraging this information to map out a clear and concise outcome to achieve a specific goal. Mental alchemy. So it's steps. It's steps to manifestation. There's a way to do it. Actionable steps. Steps that you can start doing right now, today, and you don't have to delay. But it's probably good to understand your way of thinking. I think that will help. That'll be kind of like the starter kit here, is recognizing whether you're a convergent or divergent thinker. Divergent thinkers, they're very expansive. I would consider myself more of a divergent thinker. I'm always thinking of a lot of different possibilities, trying to figure out how I can apply these different possibilities to achieve an outcome. They say it's more than one way to skin a cat. I don't know if skinning a cat is cool. Hopefully y'all ain't never done that before either, so. Right. But, that's the saying. That's how it goes. There's multiple ways to get a outcome or multiple outcomes. Depends on what you're looking for. And then there's convergent thinking, which is you being more analytical, right? That's more left brain. Divergent is right brain, but being convergent is more left brain. You needing a process, or you narrowing the options down to one specific way of achieving your outcome. So just recognizing how you think, that'll help out a lot. And I personally think this is what we do. We kind of fluctuate in different seasons and different scenarios. In some seasons of life, you might be a divergent thinker. In other seasons, you might be convergent. And I think you should be more ambidextrous mentally when it comes to stuff like this, because different scenarios will require a different way of thinking. But me personally, I'm more so divergent, but I can be convergent. And not to mention, when you want something, you have to become more of a convergent thinker anyway, because every option won't always get you what you want. So sometimes you got to narrow it down a bit, and that's cool too. But either way, it's you just recognizing that you want something. So, figuring out your way of thinking or your understanding as to how your brain personally works is going to take some work. It's going to take some learning, some growing, some introspection into yourself, and, kind of zooming out and just becoming more mindful of how you process thoughts and even the emotions that's associated with these thoughts. But at the end of the day, if you're not getting what you want, it's most likely because it's a lack of knowledge, not because you don't have the potential or the ability to get it. It's just you not having proper tool set and the knowledge as to how to obtain it. You want something, but you're in mental darkness. As to how to achieve your desired outcome, light is a process yet to be discovered. From the perspective of the mind, manifesting seems to be setting a clear goal and achieving it. Simple enough, right? I mean, that's what it looks like. It's not really too difficult here. Again, it seems like it's a lot of spiritual woo-woo when it comes to stuff like this, but it's just having a goal. Having one clear goal, following the necessary steps to get what you want. So 4 steps. This is, right, we're getting into the meat. Now we finally are going to talk about what it takes. 4 steps. Know what you want, focus your attention, deliberately practice, and be accountable. We'll start with 1. Now, this is the first step that most people claim that they know, but if you ask more intrusive questions about it, they really don't know what they want. I'm talking about highly specific questions as to, what do you want your next car to be? How do you want to grow your business? Where do you want to live in the next 5 years? Who do you plan on being with? All of these things, if you want something, you should kind of have more of an awareness and a greater attention to detail as to how these things would make you happy. Or in essence, you should just kind of know what you want. When you can visualize it, which is really, really important, that further embosses or imprints, if you will, and reinforces the desire that you have for wanting to get what you want, for getting your ideal outcome. Seeing is believing. So this is important. This is a very necessary step. I don't care what it is. If it's a car, you might want to go test drive it. Why? Smell it. Actually experience what it would be like to be in the driver's seat of this thing. If it's a house, go walk around, right? Go to an open house, walk around it, be in the rooms, whatever. Now, these are more material, whatever, but it still applies. With me and where I'm at in my life, I like to think on a much larger, more grander scale. I wouldn't consider myself a humanitarian, but I do love seeing people achieve the things that they want. So I have a goal that I want to manifest. I put myself in the driver's seat, right? Visualization, like I said, it's important. So just recently, I've been invited to an engagement. It's coming up in the next few months, but it's important to me that what I do, if this is going to be a successful outcome, you prepare. You have to visualize. See yourself in the driver's seat here. Now, me, I don't have a problem with speaking. I do this all the time. I do it with the individuals I speak to, business owners, founders, whatever. I do it all the time. So it's not difficult for me. But for an individual who's not used to doing something, you have to put yourself in the driver's seat. You have to visualize. You have to see it with your mind. You have to rehearse this over and over and over. Put yourself in the seat. Get yourself into a different environment, right? If you want a new reality, you have to be able to see it in detail. Number 2 is focusing your attention. This is critical because this is you actively searching for opportunities. This is you raising your awareness. When your awareness is heightened, you begin to actually notice the subtleties in your day, right? And y'all know what I'm talking about. Facebook is really good at this. You'll be like, hey, just I'm thinking about a phone or whatever. What happens? You wind up getting an ad or something like that. You wind up seeing the phone, right? Now, we're not talking about Mark here. Shout out to you, by the way. Ain't no shots here. Don't ban me. But you begin to notice things in your environment. You begin to see things around you, right? Law of attraction, you'll begin to notice more because you're aware, like you're paying attention to it. Like right now, you didn't even realize that your right toe might be curled or that you're wearing shoes. See, I told you wasn't even paying attention to it. But you get what I'm saying, right? Where attention goes, energy flows. So you'll begin to pay attention to more things leading to your outcome. And I like to use the analogy about the kid in the chair. Kid wants tasty cereal, but tasty cereal is out of reach. Kid's brain scans the surrounding area for items that could potentially be used as leverage to help obtain cereal. Kid sees cereal, kid grabs chair. Kid climbs on top of chair and can now reach cereal. Kid grabs cereal, kid eats cereal, kid is now satisfied. How did the kid notice the chair? His mind was actively seeking out a solution as to how to obtain what he wanted, which was the cereal. He became more acutely aware of the potential resources in his environment to help aid his cause. Again, raised awareness. Most people will say, I don't have money, or I don't have the ability to make this thing happen because of this problem right here. All that you need, I'm telling you, is in your head. You will become an entirely new person when you begin seeing the opportunities that's right in front of you. And you become this new person by seeing the opportunities in front of you, by actively seeking them out. You're not lacking, you're just not looking. Number 3, deliberate practice, and that's just what it sounds like. It's you taking the time every day, whether it be learning a new skill, right, like writing, like speaking, 2 very important aspects as an entrepreneur to master, because these aspects are high-level communication tools. If you're going to be able to sell anything, if you're going to be able to do anything for anyone, you have to know what it takes to get past the logical part of the person that you're speaking to and ultimately tap into their hearts, because that's where emotions are created and that's where decisions are made. When you want something, you don't think about it, you begin to feel it, you visualize it. These visualizations create emotions, those emotions create decisions. You already know what you want the moment you see it or the moment you hear about it. So when you're able to speak about something, when you're able to write persuasively in a way that can help a person make a decision for something that they already want, that's a powerful tool, but you have to deliberately practice. You have to hone in on this skill set. If you're going to manifest a outcome, it's going to take deliberate practice. You putting the work in and day out. Again, this is not as spiritual as you like to think or as most people would like to make it seem. There's actionable steps, and this is one of them. And number 4 is accountability. And I talk about this a lot also on my YouTube, right, about business, entrepreneurship, and that's a pretty big thing. If you plan on getting into entrepreneurship, if you're kind of tired of where you are in the moment, you need to learn how to write and you need to learn how to speak. And it doesn't happen overnight. It takes practice and it takes hard work. And if you want to learn more about that, I'll link in the description my free course on how to create a one-person business. So that'll be down there. Check that out if you want. Anyway, accountability. And this is another big one because shit gets hard. Manifesting, like I said, is easy when you become the person, but it's becoming the person who can manifest some shit that's difficult. Because while you're trying to change the environment around you, where you are, what you're used to doing, all of these factors are still kind of staying the same while you're changing. High and lofty goals don't come without a high price to pay. So you have to be willing to pay the price. And when that price needs to be paid, you need an anchor for when you are about to snap, you're about to give up, you're feeling frustrated. You need this form of accountability to keep you grounded when you don't feel like going. So you need the necessary contingencies in place, right? You need those intrinsic drivers that when you're about to give up, begin to replay in your head like it's screaming out at you. What are your contingencies? What do you have in place to keep you there or to keep you motivated and to keep you going when you just don't feel like it? And for me, what does that look like? That's faith, family, and legacy. My belief in God, my family, my wife, my kids, and that's the legacy. That's the life of me being an individual of high value who brought transformation to other people. So in my deepest and super darkest hours, these have been the anchors that have got me through, my intrinsic motivator. You have to have a desire, a magnetic desire that's so strong that despite of your will of wanting to give up, the pull that you have on wanting to achieve this outcome far outweighs and supersedes the temptation that you have on wanting to throw the towel in. Right? So those were the 4, but just as some bonuses, I'm gonna add these in also, right? right? So you have selective filtering. That's you having a clear focus, a clear aim, and filtering out all the nonsense, all the shit that doesn't matter or doesn't apply to what you want, people, places, and things. You have to filter it out. You have to weigh the current state of your life and ask, is what you're unwilling to give up worth more than the desired reality that you want to experience, that you want to live? And selective attention. This is you intentionally paying attention. This is you recognizing your own thought process and wanting to pay attention to only specific things. And this is critical because when you do, you'll start seeing the synchronicities and things. Like I said, your awareness is raised. You're paying more attention. So when you're paying more attention and you're noticing more in your environment, these are leveraging tools. These are opportunities, like the kid in the chair and the cereal. I promise you, you're not lacking as much as you think. It's just that you're unaware of the resources that's closer to you than you like to think. And value tagging. This is kind of an automatic part of the brain. This is your mind tagging what's important to your life from greatest to least. Again, this is you knowing specific people's names, knowing specific places to go to, because in order of importance, your mind has tagged it and already said, this is what we already know how to do. It's embossed onto your brain. It doesn't require very much effort. But if you're going to manifest, if you're going to achieve an outcome, what you say is important has to start becoming more important by you giving it more attention and you tagging it in your head and saying, okay, this is the thing that I want. So this is the steps that I'm going to take and make it important to me every day by investing time, by investing energy, and by immersing myself into it. And every day, like most habits, when you continue to do this, you'll find it difficult after a period of time to stop doing. So for me, I created the habit of writing. I write every day now, but it took me roughly about 2 weeks. So now when I don't write, whether it be a newsletter, whether it be a post, right, for my social media, any kind of content, or just journaling, it feels weird for me not to do. You have a very powerful brain with an even more powerful pattern recognition system. So your mind is programmable. But if all you're doing, right, through the filtering from day to day is seeing things and immersing yourself in entertainment and pleasure and whatever it is, that's all your mind is going to crave and attract. So you got to detox. You have to intentionally filter out anything and start purposely and intentionally tagging the things in your life that's important. And when it becomes important to you, it becomes important to your brain. And when it's important to your brain, it becomes a habit in your life. Whatever helps you get it done is all that matters. Just realize manifesting isn't as hard as you think. It's about becoming a person who can achieve a goal, period. A person who can go the distance despite overwhelming odds. You have water, but your bros are low on wine at the wedding. You know what needs to be done, so do the impossible. It's only impossible until it gets done. That's all I got, fam. I hope it was a good video. I hope it was uplifting. I hope that now you can kind of see manifestation isn't this very difficult spiritual act to perform. It's more or less having a goal, following steps to get it, getting what you want. So if this video was of any value, please click like and subscribe. Appreciate all the love and time and attention you put into starting this video and listening to it to the very end. I write newsletters every week in regards to the mind, self-improvement, and one-person businesses. That'll be tagged in the description. Those get sent out every Sunday. So if you want to learn something new about your mind, if you need actionable advice on how to self-improve, and if you want to learn how to build one-person businesses, the newsletter will be tagged in the description. I have what's called a reality audit that I made where it has all this information included in how you can begin to create a new life based on the cognitive steps that you can use to reprogram your own mind. So if you're interested, that's in the link also. It's called the reality audit. Help me change my mind, help me grow my business, all the good stuff. Cognitive currency also, if you consider yourself a creative or an entrepreneur, solopreneur, powerful tool. It's a paid offer I created for people who want to learn how to create their own digital products and leverage their own knowledge, expertise, skill set so that they can begin to make money on autopilot, manifest some shit in their sleep. So I'll link that in the description also. But ultimately, family, this is about you becoming a different person. Like I said, manifesting isn't hard. It's becoming the person who can do something extraordinary so that they can have the things in life that they want. Ultimately, the life that you want comes down to you. Once you change your mind, your reality changes with it. Love y'all, fam. Create your own reality in the meantime, and I'll see y'all in the next video.